Hi, I'm Diana, Communications Assistant for the City of Enid. Special guest with me today is Lead Pastor for World Harvest Church here in Enid, Brad Mendenhall. Thank you for joining us, Brad.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on with you guys today. I'm excited to be here.
Now, churches play an important role in the community. They are community leaders. How has COVID-19 affected World Harvest specifically and the way you serve the members in the Enid community?
Well, definitely the COVID-19 has interrupted all of our lives. We've seen businesses interrupted, schools interrupted, and that includes churches. And so we have been forced here over the last several weeks to just rethink the way that we do church. And church, in our community here in Enid seems to be a very vital part of many people's lives. And so, we've all been affected by this, but thank goodness for a time that we're living in of innovation and technology that we here at World Harvest Church over the last several weeks haven't stopped having church. We never stopped having it. We just simply took church out of the four walls of the building and took church to homes. And so we've been saying here lately that we're still one church. We're just in many different locations right now. So it's been challenging, but it's been an interesting season, but a good season for us.
Now, World Harvest is known to have many outreach programs for the community. In the midst of COVID-19, have you reached out to seniors, immune-compromised individuals, health workers, first responders of that nature?
We have, probably not the measure some other churches have done at a large scale. We really took this time to really just focus on some of the elderly in our own church community, to really check in with them as our primary focus. But the secondary focus has been making available to those others that maybe are friends or in relationship some way or somehow with some of the people. And, we have a hotline that people can call or text to if they need somebody to run errands with or somebody to go do it for them, or if they need groceries or supplies. We stocked up at the beginning several weeks ago with quite a bit of supplies, and have been able to help just as we go along with people. I know the big demand at the first of this, we can all remember, was the toilet paper. And so we helped several of our elderly people with runs of toilet paper, made a run to their house, dropped it off at the front porch and all. But, it's been good. It's been good, not just us as World Harvest, but just as the community, just seeing the people reaching out and just helping those in need. So it's usually in times of crisis that we do see the good come out of people.
Now, this Sunday will be the first Sunday where the stay-at-home order will be lifted, since it will be May 1st when it will be lifted, and it will start the first phase of Mayor Pankinen's plan to open the economy up for Enid, and that includes churches and gyms. But does World Harvest have a plan, a reopening plan in place?
We do, Diana, and it's been a challenging time for so many. And in my observation of our city and the people around us here in our county, what I'm seeing is seems like there's about 50 to 60% of people, they're ready to just jump back in and go. And there's the other parts, they're just like, hey, we got to really take this slow. And so for us as a church, it's been a really delicate balance. We believe that the church is the hope of the world. We believe in faith, and we believe that Jesus is the same yesterday and today and forever. So it's been quite a balancing act for us, is where do you really find the balance between faith, but yet operating in wisdom and being responsible. And so we really prayed a lot about it and sought, counsel, and sought the Lord too, what we felt like that we needed to do. And we felt like that here over the last few weeks, we've developed what I consider to be a very good plan that is responsible. In my mind, we've got to start trying to interact again, trying to find our ways to start getting our life back again in somewhat, but yet we can still be responsible there. So we put measures in place. We're doing what I've been calling here this coming Sunday, May the 3rd, a soft open. In other words, we're going to have service, but it's not going to be like it was at one time, before we went into this pandemic. Some things are going to change a little bit. Our seating is going to be a little different. We're not going to be doing children's ministry for a few weeks. So it's going to be time for families to come together and just worship together, which is, that's really not a bad deal either.
Now, Mayor Pankinen's plan to open the Enid economy is in phases. Is there a transition phase with World Harvest?
Yes, we're taking this whole month of May just as a transitional month here for us here at World Harvest Church. Again, with the governor's orders and with the mayor's orders allowing us to meet back together on Sunday, we are easing into that. And so the first 2 Sundays of May especially, we will be really restricted, and we'll just see how things go. We believe in honoring our mayor also as the authority of our city. And so we're going to follow along with what he asks us to do to the best that we can. After a couple of weeks, we'll start evaluating if the mayor allows us to relax some of our restrictions, maybe start having our kids ministry up again. We may look at doing some of that. Our hopes are that we get through this month of May, as long as the pandemic starts to lessen, like we're all praying it does and hoping it does, that when restrictions are eased, our hopes and our prayers are that come June, first Sunday of June, that we're back to regular, what I would call regular operations. I don't think there's any of us that are going to go back to necessarily the way it was, the old normal. I think there is a new normal in essence, and us as a church need to embrace, because one thing we've found, Diana, is that over the last several weeks of just taking church out of the building into homes, we are seeing that we are reaching so many more than we were reaching before. And so as we move ahead, we don't want to stop doing that. So our plans are to do what we can to gradually come back together corporately, but also to continue a great quality in-home experience that people can access online.
Now, in the soft reopening plan of yours, is there going to be a change of the number of services? Typically, traditionally, World Harvest has 2 services. Yes. Will that change?
Our plans are for right now, we've been surveying our congregation here over the last several days, asking, hey, we're with our plans to reopen May the 3rd. Are you planning on coming back, or would you prefer to wait a little bit? And we're seeing about a 50-50 response to that. About 50% of our people are saying yes, that they plan on coming back, with the other 50% saying that, with one, not having children's ministry, and number 2, with just kind of, waiting a little bit to see what happens. They're going to hang out a little bit, stay back. So right now our plans are for sure to do our 9 o'clock and our 11 o'clock, but we're going to evaluate this Sunday. We have the option to add a 1 o'clock service also. So if we do see a bigger response than what our reduced capacity can hold, and then we will add the 1 o'clock service. And so right now we're evaluating that. It's going to rephrase that. We're going to be evaluating that week by week to see. And that one thing, to add another service requires a lot of time, a lot of energy by a lot of people. So we have that option to do that. And we're encouraging our people to, and I hope all the pastors are going to do the same, and business owners. We're not putting any pressure on anybody to come back. We are challenging our people that you come back when you feel like that you're ready and when you feel safe. And of course, especially your older congregation, those that may be dealing with sickness already or high risk, we're encouraging those people, hey, there's no pressure to come back to the building. Stay at home, worship with us online, and then you come back when you feel like that you're healthy enough or whenever you feel safe enough.
Now, childcare is not included in the month of May per Mayor Pinkinen's first phase, but when is World Harvest ready and going to be implementing childcare?
Well, we will probably start at a scale whenever we are allowed to by our mayor. Mm-hmm. Whether that's if he changes his order to align with the governor's here in mid-May, or if he holds out until June, we will honor that the best we can. We are to accommodate for that through the month of May until we can re-engage in June, as long as things go well. We're going to have a couple of our kids' rooms open in case somebody does bring their child with them and they need to take them out, that they can go to one of our kids' rooms, whether it's a nursery or one of our older kids' rooms there, and just sit with them. So that's going to be made available. One thing we're also doing through the month of May, through this transition time till we can re-engage children's ministry in June, is we're going to provide crayons and activity booklets there that parents can pick up in the foyer. But we're also taking a small segment of our Sunday morning worship experience and having what I'm calling a kids moment, where our children's pastor will come up and do something fun or a challenge or a video or something there, just to engage our young kids that may be there in the sanctuary and give them an opportunity to feel like we are doing something for them, letting them connect. And also, every parent that I know and grandparent, they always love those kids moments anyway. So I'm even looking for those myself as a grandparent.
So pending if there is a change with Mayor Pinkinen's first phase in reopening its economy is when you will also implement children's ministry, but for now it is June, correct?
It is June. That's our plans right now. Unless the plans of the mayor changes, then we will align with that. So.
All right. Now, how will the seating be arranged when people first come in to what are they to expect when they first arrive in the parking lot and go
You bet.
into
Yeah.
the lobby area?
It's Yeah, it's going to look a little bit different. World Harvest Church, we're known as a very friendly church, a very welcoming church. We're a church that likes to shake hands and give a lot of hugs. And so we are asking our people and our door greeters to refrain from hugging and shaking hands at this point. We'll greet the best way we can without touching and honoring the social distancing space there. So in our sanctuary, we have reduced our sanctuary seating by what the governor and also the mayor has asked us to do. We have gone in and we have, as you can see there on the picture on the screen, we have taped off every other row in our sanctuary. And then we are also providing cards for our attendees that can pick up. And like, for instance, if a family comes in of 2 or 3, they can sit in a row and take cards to put on each side of them that just ask somebody to kindly do not sit here to help create that social distancing in that. We chose to do the taping off of rows instead of taking rows up because we wanted to have at least a feel of when people come back into our sanctuary that it's still a feel of home that it was several weeks ago, and not having chairs stacked up all over the place or having a very empty room. So we've given the opportunity, people are going to be able to spread out quite a bit there. If for chance is a big influx of people wanting to come to church, we will have our elders will be counting the people who to come in and observing the capacity space. And once we hit a certain limit there, we will just have to simply ask people if they don't mind either coming back to the next service or going home and joining us online.
Now, the Garfield County Health Department has created a page where they are giving signs or guidance for businesses and creating signs to post on there where businesses can take and use for their businesses to post up when customers come in, so that they are aware of these signs for COVID-19 and maybe some mask or covering your cough and things of that nature. Now, will World Harvest have signs posted?
Yes, we will. And we have taken those signs that they have created and just duplicated them here through our systems. And so we will have signs at the doors, at the entrances, asking people, if they have a fever, a cough, not been feeling well, that if they would kindly just go back home and join us online. We will have a small health check team in place in our foyer area that will kindly ask people if they look like they may not be feeling well, hey, would you mind us taking your temperature, or just do a quick health check with you in that. So we feel that everybody's concerned at this time anyway. So we don't feel it's going to be out of place to ask somebody, hey, do you mind if we at least check you out for just a moment before you go in there. So it's just, again, it's about being safe. None of us want to do anything foolish or irresponsible. So again, balancing, hey, how do we re-engage our lives now while staying safe?
Now, sanitizer is going to be a crucial thing when businesses and people start opening up. Now, will World Harvest be offering a sanitation station or mask for people who come?
We will. In fact, we have added sanitation stations in every one of our rooms in the building, and also by the doors there, that people have that opportunity to sanitize in and sanitize out. Their mask, we will have masks available to those who would like to wear them in that, depending on where they're at with the mask situation. So I know we've got several ladies in the church, they've been busy making masks, and so seen some pretty cool creativity coming out with those. And so with that, we'll also have a sanitation team that will, before service, during, and even after each service, will be going through the building in our high usage areas there and sanitizing those areas. Even the chairs will be sanitized. Of course, with us not having children's ministry, we will be closing off a portion of the building that is not accessible also.
Now, information right now is fluid during the pandemic, especially now when we're looking towards opening the unit economy. Now, is World Harvest projecting a date for when things will go back to a kind of normal, traditional way of doing things, events and study groups and that nature?
Well, of course, I always tell everybody I'm a good redneck from the panhandle of Oklahoma. I come from a mindset where, you fall down, you skim your knee, you just dust yourself off and then go on. So for me, I'm the one that's always kind of gung ho. Let's move. Let's do this. Let's reopen. Let's do that. But I've got a great team around me that really keeps me. They're kind of like my drag anchor. They keep us slowed down, keep us balanced. With anything in life, I truly believe there's a balance to be found in that. We can get too radical on any situation or too conservative. And so the challenge for every one of us is to find the balance. And so, with us as we move ahead, I'm really praying and I'm really hoping that starting in June, that we start seeing some really more normal things happening, that where we're not so concerned about the restrictions. And that I am looking for, and something I've been asking the congregation, and I'll be asking them this Sunday, what does new normal look like for you? And not the normal of wearing masks and social distancing, but what is it that you're taking away from these last several weeks, in that. So I tend to be very optimistic with questions like this. I mean, I'm hoping, late May, 1st of June, that we're seeing things begin to return to normal. The reality is it could be June, July, maybe even August. So my prayers and hopes are that it's just a few weeks away.
Absolutely. Now, I don't have any questions online. Is there anything else that you would like to add to the members that are watching and the viewers of Enid?
Sure, and I would encourage anybody that is watching online, if you have a question that you'd like to ask, please post that there on the comment section, and we'd be glad to answer any questions. Again, what we're doing, there's the critics out there and there's the supporters. It's like with anything that's going on right now. What's the right decision that I keep hearing? And,
right.
Sometimes there's not a right decision. It's just a decision that's got to be made, decision that's based upon what we feel in our heart and based upon the data that we have around us. And so I'm glad that we've got a community that, we've got our health department that offers us the information we need. Many city leaders that our mayor has been connecting with there. So, I just want to encourage people too, that we can't let the fear of this drive us and drive our life either. It's really finding that balance between, faith and fear. Faith is what draws us to the next level, but it's wisdom that holds us. And so we got to be careful that we're not letting fear keep us away from our lives and from where God wants to take us. And we can't let faith be so blind in our faith that we're not being responsible either. So it's just finding that healthy balance that we have in our life. And I just want to encourage our community that, I believe God's hand has been upon us as a community here. I know our numbers have been relatively low compared to other areas, but every number is a life. I understand that in this, but I'm just believing that we're going to come out of this better. We're going to be better in our community. We're going to be better in our personal lives, and I hope we're better in our homes. Now, the only thing we have to do now is work if you got work and spend time with your family. And so hopefully that you've taken advantage of that. Life is going to kick up. Eventually, sometime down the road, it's going to be busy once again, but don't let the busyness of life take you away from your family like it used to. I just encourage you in that.
Now, Brad, before we opened with questions, you mentioned something about the National Day of Prayer. Can you tell me about that again?
Yes. Next Thursday, May the 7th, is the National Day of Prayer. This is an annual event that takes place all across the globe. And here in Enid, we've had a National Day of Prayer observance that usually takes place down on the courthouse lawn around the gazebo there on that first Thursday of the month. This year, because of the situation we're in, we are taking it virtual. So next Thursday, May the 7th, over the noon hour from 12 to 1, we're going to be having a virtual time of prayer for the National Day of Prayer. And Curtis Tucker with Enid Buzz is going to be hosting that on his website and all of his platforms. And so we're excited to be bringing that to everybody that wants to tune in during that time to the National Day of Prayer here on Enid Buzz next Thursday, May 7th from 12 to 1.
Thank you, Brad, for joining us, and thank you for sharing with us your soft reopening plan for World Harvest Church.
Yeah, and if I might mention real quickly, if there's
Sure.
any other churches or pastors that would like to, talk through what they're wanting to do, we are very open to sharing the resources that we have, and the plan that we put in place. It is not 100% something we came up with. It was actually a compilation of other pastors that we communicated with and counseling that we had received in that. And so, we're just open to help however form and whatever way we can.
Thank you, Brad, for that information, and thank you again for joining us.
All right, thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you, viewers who are watching. And as we enter this new phase, the first phase of Mayor Pinkinen's plan to open Enid's economy, we are going to be meeting tomorrow with Visit Enid on how they're going to be handling the second phase. But as in the first phase, I encourage you to look up the plan that the mayor had posted. Now, this is fluid information, so it is subject to change if the need arises. So until tomorrow, join us for another COVID-19 live update at 1:30. Thank you.